Muy buenas tardes a toda la Federación Ibero-Latinoamericana. Es un verdadero placer. El día de hoy tenemos un banquete maravilloso. En primer lugar, tenemos a una de las más guapas y excelentes e inteligentes cirujanos plásticos que hay en el mundo, que es Bertha Torres, que ha hecho un gran trabajo teniendo conferencias, invitando a gente muy, muy buena. Este día tenemos 5 países que están incluidos en esta conferencia, como es Tonnard de Bélgica, está André Auersvald de Brasil, tenemos a Ozan Sozer de United States, de Estados Unidos, tenemos a Stephen Danila de Chile. Y obviamente con la magnífica coordinación de Bertha Torres. Quiero decirles que estas conferencias tienen una nueva dinámica. El doctor Molina quiere que todos los capítulos, comisiones y comités de la federación tengan su parte activa. El día de hoy, Bertita, que es ni más ni menos la del Comité de Nuevas Tecnologías, es la directora, el presidente de este capítulo, nos tiene esta gran sorpresa. Les doy la bienvenida a todos. Muchísimas gracias a los panelistas. Thank you very much, all of you guys. Y vamos a tener esta tarde, ya sin más anunciamientos, a la doctora Bertha Torres, que es nuestra directora de muchas cositas. Es la representante del ISAPS, es la secretaria de ISAPS en México, y ha hecho una labor maravillosa con las conferencias. Bertita, adelante. Muchísimas gracias a los panelistas. Thank you very much for all of you guys. Empezamos.
Pues muy buenas tardes, queridos amigos de la FILACP. Me siento muy feliz y muy honrada de estar con todos ustedes en este momento tan sensible por el que todos estamos pasando, pero sobre todo me siento muy feliz de poder haber reunido a estos 4 grandes profesores que nos acompañan el día de hoy. Quiero agradecer a nuestro presidente, el doctor Alejandro Duarte, que como ustedes saben, pues está a punto de concluir una gestión muy exitosa de 2 años como nuestro presidente de la FILACP, a Fernando Molina, Alfonso Vallarta por el comité educativo y a toda la mesa directiva que nos han compartido eventos académicos muy buenos y de primer nivel. Para quien no me conoce, pues soy la doctora Bertha Torres, soy de México y me tocó organizar esta conferencia a nombre del capítulo de Innovaciones y de Nuevas Tecnologías en Cirugía Plástica. Y quiero ofrecerles una sesión que estoy segura que va a ser mucho de su agrado porque nos vamos a llevar perlas a nuestra práctica cotidiana que sin duda nos van a poder hacer mejores cirujanos plásticos. Bueno, y aunque son de países diferentes, aunque hablan idiomas diferentes, todos ellos entienden español. Y aparte se caracterizan porque hoy en día y desde hace muchos años han venido marcando tendencias en nuestra especialidad. Y sus trabajos sin duda han contribuido enormemente a la evolución de cada uno de nosotros. Quiero presentar en primer lugar cómo va a ser la dinámica de la sesión. Cada uno tiene una presentación. Al término de sus ponencias vamos a tratar de entrevistarlos sobre los puntos más importantes de lo que ellos nos van a presentar. Por favor, envíenos todas sus preguntas a través del chat del webinar y queremos pedirles de verdad de la manera más atenta que se abstengan de grabar y difundir fotos y videos de esta conferencia porque las pacientes no autorizan su reproducción en redes sociales. Es por respeto a nuestros profesores, es por respeto a nosotros, confiamos en ustedes y esperemos que disfruten mucho esta sesión. Muchas gracias. Quiero dejar solamente en cámara al doctor Patrick Tonnard para presentarlo formalmente. Patrick Tonnard es conocido mundialmente. He's a very well-known surgeon in facial rejuvenation. He's from Belgium, he's in Ghent, and nowadays he's focused in regenerative surgery medicine. He always tries to simplify things and try to share simple things that really works, like the max lift, the short capsulectomy, and all the fat grafting on the face. his techniques are very well known. We love him because he did a fellow in Mexico many years ago with our beloved Fernando Ortiz Monasterio. He also was with Patrick Maswell, Gary Burgett. He's an international professor. He's a member of the most important international societies. He has several international awards related with new ideas and innovations. He's author of more than 40 papers, 3 books. He's invited to give lectures and courses around the world, and he loves yoga meditation too. He has foundation for children with cleft and lip palate. So, Patrick, what I can say? Please go on. The floor is yours, and we are going to enjoy your lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bertha. When you asked me to participate in this panel, I thought I would talk a little bit about Nanofat that we start doing since almost 10 years now. And I'm going to talk about how we evolved from Nanofat injection into Nanofat microneedling. So for those who don't know what Nanofat is, we start with harvesting the fat with a multi-hole cannula, what we call microfat, and then we emulsify the fat. So we push the fat through a small tunnel.
One second, Patrick. Yeah. 1 second. Can Ozan, Andrea, and Stefan get out of the screen, please? Can you take your cameras off? Just let Patrick alone. Thank you. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, I start again. We start with microfat harvesting, and we turn the fat into nanofat by pushing the fat through a small tunnel, which we call emulsification. We use 2 emulsifiers, one 2.4 and one 1.2 millimeter. We do this to be sure that we destroy all the fat cells. The idea of the emulsification is to destroy the large adipocytes and to keep intact the smaller cells of the stromal vascular fraction. Now, nowadays, we do it in a progressive 2-stage sequential emulsification, once with the 2.4 and then with the 1.2. The reason why we do this is that if you only do it with the 2.4, sometimes you don't destroy all the fat cells. So you ask me, why don't you do it immediately with the 1.2? And here you see the difference between the nanofat on the left, which is more whitish and more liquid, and the microfat. And then we filter it through a double filter, a 400, 600 micrometer filter. And so I was explaining why we do it in the 2 times is sometimes if you just do it with the 1.2, when the fat is very fibrous, you're not able to put it through the small tunnel. So now we do it in 2 stages. And then we just push the fat through the double filter just 1 time to get rid of the fibrous remnants, because we want to inject this with very fine needles like 27G needles. You will not get it through these needles if you don't take away the fibrous remnants. And if you open the filter, you can see there is some fibrous tissue on that filter. In this case, it's not so very well present, but you see this will definitely block our 27G needle. And then we transfer this into 1 cc syringes, and now we're ready for nanofat grafting. You see how small these syringes are, how liquid this is, and this is in comparison with the microfat, which is more gelish, more the structural fat. And this is a little video that we made, like a little animation so to show you what we think happens on the cellular level. The yellow are the adipocytes, and they are mechanically destroyed. Now, the smaller cells you see floating around are the cells of the stromal vascular fraction. They are left intact. And then we filter it. This is the disposable device, disposable filter. It's also a double filter. You see the fibrous remnants are left on top, and the liquid and the smaller cells is going through the filter. And what are the indications for nanofat grafting? You have to understand that nanofat has no filling capacity. So don't use it as a filler, even not to fill a wrinkle. It will not volumize wrinkles. It will not volumize deflation. So it is used to improve the quality of the skin, sun-damaged skin, scars, pigmentation, mucosa. So we started injecting it in the face for freckled periorbital skin, for generalized skin improvement, for lip mucosa enhancement. Dark circles is a very good indication for the décolleté we do almost daily. And this is originally how we injected the nanofat with a very small 27G needle. You see the blanching of the skin, very, very superficial. And this is a gentleman, 72. He had a facial rejuvenation procedure, had some fat grafting, microfat. But if you look at this scar on his right cheek, we injected this with nanofat. And if we magnify this scar is virtually gone. And this is something new. This is a 1-year post-op result. Also, this is just fat grafting with this is what we call SNP. It is injecting microfat into the rhytids and then a lip augmentation. But then a few years later, she came back and we enhanced the quality of the skin with nanofat. Look at the change in the quality of the skin. This lady is, if you compare it, these lips are 65 and here she is 73. So this is 8 years after a double procedure with microfat and nanofat. Very good indication is dark circles. This is a young lady in her 30s with very dark discoloration of the lower eyelid. This is the way we do it. We inject just on top of the orbicularis, under the skin, very superficial. You see the yellowish discoloration. It looks frightening if you do this at the end, but remember, you're not injecting fat cells. This is just after the procedure. It looks like you created a huge xanthelasma. This is 1 week later, just some inflammation. And this is 7 months post-op. You see the change in the quality of the skin. This is 5 years post-op. So this can be considered as a permanent result. This is another indication, 1 year post-op, together with a rhinoplasty. And you see this kind of creepy skin here in the neck. We don't hesitate anymore. This is when she was young, to put in nanofat into that whole surface of the neck. This is not about tightening up the neck. This is changing the quality of the skin and improving, regenerating the skin, as we would say nowadays. Décolletage are very good indications. This is very prone to sun damage. This looks like this after 1 week, after 2 weeks. 6 months later, you see the improvement of the quality of the skin. And this is reproducible. You see this very thin, like percament type of skin. And 1 year, typically you have to wait 6 to 8 months before you start to see improvement. And this can be a little bit disappointing. Now, a few new indications I want to talk about is the wound healing cream, nanofat cream, and the anti-aging nanofat microneedling. So nanofat is an unstable emulsion. If you put it aside, it will shift into liquid and fat. So to stabilize it, we try to make a cream. Now, there are 2 ways to make a cream out of nanofat. Put some methyl celluloses. This is paper powder. This is a very cell-friendly product. It's used in a lot of cell cultures. We use 10 cc of nanofat, 9 cc of saline, 1 cc of methyl celluloses. You can buy it in your pharmacist. It's very cheap. And here we do it. We just put 1 cc of methyl celluloses. We put some saline, and then we mix it with the nanofat. And you have a cream that is okay to use, but it's still a very fatty cream. We use it on laser resurfacing, and I'll show you some indications. Another way to, and a better way to make a nanofat cream is to mix it with cytomacrogol cream. This is a cream, a very known cream in dermatologists. Take a picture of this, what is in the cream. Ask your pharmacist to make a tube of 50 grams, and you use 10 cc, and you mix it with 10 cc of nanofat. And then you apply it on your resurfaced areas. And I can tell you, on clinically, this will speed up the healing time after resurfacing. We are doing a study now to try to prove that it speeds up the healing after donor sites of skin grafts. Next step is nanofat needling. And that is really hitting two birds with one stone. We know microneedling or percutaneous collagen induction. It triggers regenerative mechanisms. It activates non-inflammatory wound healing, the so-called scarless healing. It activates the release of a lot of cytokines and molecules that induce skin proliferation, differentiation, neoangiogenesis, collagen and elastin deposition. Histologically, we see epidermal thickening and increased collagen deposition, and it enhances the penetration of topical products. And there is where it becomes interesting with combination with the nanofat. We see after dry needling, you see results after 3 to 6 months. So we use this device. This is a needling, a tapping device. It has 20 1.5 millimeter needles with a central pump system. Each time you tap the skin, some micro droplets of nanofat are exposed over the needles. This is where we get it. We get it, take a picture of that. We get it in China. It costs $3.5 to $5. It's called Hydra needle. It has 20 1.5 millimeter long needles, gold titanium plated needles. And then you can also buy the American version. It's called Agua Gold. It costs a little bit more expensive, like $200. And the idea is that each time you penetrate the dermis, micro droplets of the nanofat are following into the holes. And this is our protocol that we use now. The vial can take 8 cc. We use 5.5 cc of nanofat, 1 cc of 500 milligram of vitamin C, a half cc of Botox, 50 units. That works also on the quality of the skin. That's the kind of micro Botox that Waffles described, and 1 cc of hyaluronic acid. Why do we add this? Because we have to wait so long, 6 to 8 months, to see the effect of the nanofat. So we have a boost of the skin with the hyaluronic acid and the Botox and the vitamin C, and then the effect will be taken over by the nanofat. So if we tap the skin with the 20 microneedles, like 3 taps per second, you will see it in a while. During 20 minutes, we created about 72,000 holes in the facial skin. If we use 2 vials, as we normally do, we created about 144 holes. Now, Gordon Sasaki has proved that these holes remain open for about 30 minutes. And then we put the nanofat cream. Here is on the local for an upper lip in a younger lady. This is the tapping, can be done on the local. And then you see there is like punctured bleeding. You can, afterwards, you wipe off the skin and you see like a pinkish glow. And then you put the nanofat cream. You give this cream to your patient. She can store it in the fridge, use it within 1 week, and everything is healed. You can do hands. It looks like quite dramatic, but the idea is that you reach the papillary dermis, because there is where your generation takes place. And afterwards, it looks very dramatic, but if you wipe away the blood, you see the skin is intact. It's a little bit pinkish, and then you can apply the nanofat cream on top of it. You can do it in the local with some blocks and a little bit sedation if you want, or in the general, whatever you want. This is the neck. You see the micro droplets coming out of the device, and this can be done, the neck and the hands, and the décolleté can be done on the topical. For the face, you need some extra anesthesia. And this is what we call our nanofat needling factory. The whole personnel is involved in the arms and the hands and in the neck and whatever. And after that, we apply the creams. Patient love it. And this is using the patient's regenerative potential. This patient here is half makeup. The next day, this is without makeup. You see some petechien, some punctured bleeding. This is with full makeup a few days later. So the morbidity is very limited. And this is her at the age of 64. And I can tell you, this is my sister, by the way. This is her neck skin. I found this picture at the age of 45. This is her neck skin 20 years later, and it looks better than it was 20 years ago. So this is real regeneration. This is a lady, full face, nanofat needling. and an upper blepharoplasty, some fat grafting. But look at the change in the quality of the skin. Look at the lightening of the skin with the correction of the mottling pigmentation. Another case together with fat grafting, but look at the change in the quality after each facial rejuvenation, after a lift. Of course, you had the lifting, but look at the quality, the change of the quality, and we should do more studies with histology. And this is another lady. More and more I have people, they don't want to be operated. She is 74, and she just wants, she had some fat grafting in the upper eyelids, in the malar area, a little bit liposuction of the jaw, but look at the change in the quality of the skin for this 73-year-old lady. And even here, you can see the result. It is almost approaching the result of a laser resurfacing. Look at the correction of the small ritis here on the upper lip of the claw feet. And this is typically about 9 months after fat grafting and nanofat needling of the face and neck. And I think this is very promising. This is also together with the lifting procedure. Look at the change in the quality of the skin together with the rest of the fat grafting. And then the needling was done full face and neck. And again, here we are. And so there is a lot of differences. It's difficult to understand what happens, but a lot of things are changing when our skin gets old. Also the light reflexes, and it looks like this shiny skin looks better. We are doing a study with the Visia. We see that definitely the results improve over time, especially if you wait more than 6 months. The reduction of the wrinkles, the pore size, the porphyrins in the skin, and so on. Typical example, see the different lightening of the skin together with the lifting procedure, but you can see the change in the quality of this skin. This is not just due to the lifting procedure, but it's also due to the needling. Hands are very good indications, and we published this, our experience in the PRS article together with Alex Verpalen, my associate in PRS. Another indication, good indication, is the combination with erbium laser resurfacing. And this lady put her results on the internet. This was only 5 weeks after a very aggressive laser with needling on top of it. And you see, 5 weeks, I have been doing laser for more than 15 years. I never had a result like this in 5 weeks. So I invited her and I said, let me see your result. This is 6 weeks later. I think this is very promising. In our experience, the combination, it speeds up the healing. There is less redness after a combination with erbium laser resurfacing. So the conclusion of that nanofat needling and the cream is that we are really entering the regenerative anti-aging medicine and surgery. We think if we boost the skin every 2-3 years, we can perhaps slow down the skin aging process. It could speed up the laser resurfacing healing. We have very promising clinical results, but we need longer follow-up and histological studies. And then I just want to introduce the concept of prejuvenation, what we call preventive rejuvenation. So the idea is it possible to slow down the skin aging process? We know that every anti-aging process lengthens the disease-free interval, so it's going to be difficult to prove. So that the idea is to start early in our 30s to do a boosting of the skin with nanofat, and that is the idea of an anti-aging procedure, is to have a longer pre-disease interval before we start to be unhealthy. And I want to finish my talk with a case that I operated this morning. She is 58, she came for a secondary facelift. And we did a simple max lift, Mario Pellis technique in the neck, the gliding temporal lift of Ozan, the microfat grafting in the eyelids, the malar area, the A-net of André, and then a full face and neck nanofat microneedling. So this is really a tribute to the next speakers. You see she had a net. At the end, we do the needling. She had a gliding temporal lift. And to know that, I think we should better listen to the next speakers to know everything about that. I thank you for your attention.
Wonderful, Patrick. Thank you very much. Well, as you see, the combination of treatments. Can you hear me, Patrick?
I don't hear you, Bertha.
Okay, now?
Okay, I hear you. No problem.
Okay, wonderful. Well, the combination of techniques of the best probably will have the best results. A few questions, very fast questions for you, Patrick. ¿Cómo funciona el nano injerto? How does the nanofat works?
Well, that's a very good question. And to be honest, hello, Fernando.
Hey, how are you?
We don't know, but I can share you some ideas about how it works. And so, to be honest, we don't know how it works. And classically, we thought we destroy the adipocytes, which are about 10 times bigger than the smaller cells of the stromal-vascular fraction. We have to understand that if we talk about fat tissue, 80% is adipocytes of the volume, but only 25% of the cell count. This other 75% is the stromal-vascular fraction. Now, Banyard did a very nice study, and he said that nanofat processing, so this emulsification, is more than just killing the adipocytes. So the mechanical shear stress leads to an upregulation of multipotent and pluripotent markers. And they start to talk about stress-induced stromal vascular fraction. So it's all about the trauma. And they see an upregulation of the CD34, the mesenchymal stem cell markers, hematopoietic and endothelial markers, just by putting trauma on the fat. So we can ask ourselves, what is the role of trauma in nanofat processing? What do we know? The difference between microfat and macrofat. Now, Sid Coleman told us we have to do low vacuum and smooth cannulas. This is based on his personal experience, but not on science. So we see that in microfat, there is about 23% increase in adipose rich stem cells compared to the conventional harvested fat. We also see if you harvest your fat with barbed cannulas, the sharp rasping cannulas, you have 47% more adipose rich stem cells. So if you think evolutionary, trauma triggers repair and regeneration. So we have to use that trauma. And nowadays, everybody is talking about the stem cell. Everything what we don't understand is stem cells. But we also have to look at the paracrine function, what is in the liquid. If you look at the stromal vascular fraction, only 2% are stem cells. So perhaps there are other things going on in that nanofat. And if we think about the intercellular crosstalk, what is the signaling between the cells? And there is exosomes, I think, are very important. That are little microvesicles that are released from the cells. They play a role in the cell-to-cell communication, paracrine function, and they influence the activity of the adipose-rich stem cell in the microenvironment. So these paracrine influences may be more important than the pure cellular actions. Actually, we think they are. And look at it as the hardware and the software. The hardware is the stem cell. The software are the exosome, the intracellular hormones, the cytokines, and so on. Compare it with a beautiful Ferrari in front of your door, but you need gasoline, you need oil, you need a driver, you need an ignition key, otherwise it doesn't work. And now there are more and more articles, especially from China, who talk about fat extract, a cell-free fat extract that has almost the same regenerative capacities as fat. So this is something, in science, we have to ask ourselves the right question. And everybody's talking about cell counts, but we have to also consider the cell function. So if you ask me how does nanofat work, I'd tell you trauma triggers is not always your enemy. It might be your best friend. It triggers regeneration. Trauma could trigger paracrine activities and activate regenerative functions, and trauma can be dosed to our benefit. And low dose, no effect, high dose regeneration, high dose toxic and destruction. So that is, we have to try to use trauma as our friend, not as our enemy. That is what I think.
And the combination of treatments to Another question is, does it fix for the people who has a darker skin, like in Latin Americans people, because you used to see the fits practice 1 or 2?
We
had
don't
to deal with
well, I think
darker.
the difference between dark circles from ethnic origin and dark circles in Caucasians. Dark circles in Caucasians, because the skin is so thin that the underlying orbicularis is showing through. That's a very good indication for nanofat. I have seen like North African people with dark pigmentation, it doesn't work so well on that. On the other hand, if you're talking about hyperpigmentation after the needling, there is no danger. You can do it in summertime, you can do it on any skin type. There is no activation of hyperpigmentation, so no problem.
Perfect. Fernando, bienvenido.
Patrick, gracias, Bertha. Patrick, as always, it's a pleasure to see your results and your philosophy of treatment. It is wonderful. Congratulations. Tell me something, just to be clear in front of many people who are connected to this activity. In your personal opinion, what is, because you show so beautiful results using only nanographs combined with the maglev. What is the main difference, in your opinion, between the changes that you can achieve with laser systems? I mean, the epidermical and new production of collagen, in front of this neovascularization that you are telling to us regarding the post-traumatic effect after the nanographs. What is your opinion about?
Well, we have to find out. Definitely for deep wrinkles like on the upper lip, you have to go deeper with laser or peeling. Otherwise, with nanofat needling or injection, it will not solve the problem. But I think we are more thinking now in terms of combination. It speeds up the healing. We also see that nanofat injection in scars is fibrolytic. It makes the scars soft. So there is definitely something going on. And I think especially for the younger generation, there is so much research to be done. And I think it's a beautiful area where we start knowing now the clinical results, but we still have to understand how it works.
Okay. Very nice.
We are going to move it with Ozan Sozer. Ozan, could you put your presentation, please? And Patrick, would you mind to close your camera?
Okay.
Well, Ozan, he's by the more successful plastic surgeon in El Paso, Texas. He's the founder and president of the Paso Cosmetic Surgery. He's the current assistant of chairman of ISAF's medical education, an associate professor of Texas University. He's specialized in most aspects of aesthetic surgery. Everybody knows him because his technical Botox, flap, and autologous Botox lift and augmentation, and is one of the pioneers in circumferential lipoabdominoplasty. He's currently interested in facial and neck rejuvenation with minimal scars with awesome results. And he has many articles, book chapters. He's giving lectures around the world, and he's a very, very close friend. Thank you, Ozan.
Can you see my screen, Bertha?
Yes, you can put your first slide, please.
Okay.
And we can hear you.
Okay. Let's put the first slide. Is it up?
Yes.
Okay, so I can continue. Well, greetings from El Paso, Texas. It's a pleasure to be here with great plastic surgeons from different parts of the world. And I will echo the words of Patrick Tonnard. There is no 1 week passes by that I don't use in my practice nanofat grafting or surgical net. And I really thank Patrick and Andre for their innovative ideas and sharing it with us. It makes our results certainly better. So I will talk about another innovation, and this is gliding brow lift. Not my idea. concept developed by Fausto Viterbo. But I want to change the concept a little bit. I believe there are too many lifted brows out there. We should change the subject to gliding brow shaping. And so we shouldn't really lift the brow, we should just shape it. So I do different types of GBLs, GBL on patients with no or minimal skin access, extended GBL on patients with moderate skin access, and I do GBL during a facelift. So here is a video. As you can see, this case is done under local anesthesia. I am infiltrating right under the skin in a subcutaneous plane. Then I'm using this Viterbo straight dissector to create tunnels, multiple tunnels, like as if I'm doing liposuction in a subcutaneous plane. And this is a pretty fast surgery. And then I put this right-angled dissector and I connect those tunnels together. And looks like it's quite a bit trauma, but if you're operating a small area like this, this is quite okay. And you don't have to worry about if you create little bleeding, things like that, because you can place a hemostatic net that will take care of any oozing. So my assistant retracts the skin upwards, and I've placed this 5-of-proline running suture, so basically reattaching the skin to the underlying structure at a higher level. So I use a continuous suture. This is under a surgical net, and I will remove those sutures in 48 hours, and that will provide enough adhesion with the tissue to stay in this new location. So you can see the patient, this is 48 hours. Another video, another case, as you can see, I'm mobilizing the medial aspect of the bra. But in this case, I'm not going to lift it. Actually, I'm going to lower it. There are some patients out there, their medial bra is too high, and do a bra lift on these patients, they get a surprise look. So this is a simple maneuver effectively will lower the bra. Actually, with this technique, you can shape every centimeter of the bra in a different manner. As you can see, I'm elevating the lateral bra, but lowering the medial bra in this case. In some cases, if you want to get really dissection over the dorsum of the nose or the central frontal area, and you don't, you just want to make sure everything dissected, you can put this small incision on top of the bra. Through small scissors, you can just do, after you make your tunnels, you make sure you have a very good subcutaneous dissection, and then you secure the skin with your surgical net. I don't like using the upper blepharoplasty incision. I don't like combining those planes together. So here is a patient, 48 hours. You can see the frontal nerve intact. And here is the same patient, 6 months post-op. You can see the elevation. There are no scars. Here is another lady who doesn't like her bra because it looks like she's Mrs. Spock. And so I did this case under local anesthesia, maybe 20 minutes. So this is the portion that I'm going to dissect only because that's what I want to shape. I'm going to lift that corner and lower that corner. So this is the shape I achieve. And with just local anesthesia, 20-minute surgery, no scars, hardly any incisions. Here is another lady. I think she does have attractive eyes to start with, but it is now certain bra shapes are in fashion. She wants this more fashionable, sexier look. So in this case, I lowered this portion. I injected fat into the A-frame deformity and elevated this. Well, the shape I achieved may not be attractive to everybody, but the reason I'm showing this, that this technique without incisions really, or very small incisions, enables to give various shape to the bra and leave no scars. Here is the patient I showed in the video. You can see 48 hours, we removed the sutures. And here she is 1 year post-op, and the elevation persists. There are no scars, there are hardly any incisions, and we can see the result 1 year post-op. Here is another case I did under local anesthesia, and 1 year post-op, and we can see the elevation persists. It is very good for asymmetries. Here is a patient with asymmetry, and this is the post-operative result. It is great with fat injections, and so you can inject the fat in the upper eyelid and do the GBL. You can get very satisfactory results. This was a case I did in the Eurasia meeting in Istanbul, and they sent me the postoperative results 6 months after surgery. And she did have significant asymmetry of the bra. So why does it last? Because the gliding mechanism is subcutaneous. So when we do a subcutaneous dissection, but not only subcutaneous dissection, you have to use the surgical net. You completely destroy that gliding mechanism. It is like a concrete. It won't move at all. So it is more powerful actually than any other procedure we do. It really secures the bra in that position. Let's talk about extended GBL. Basically, I'm doing a GBL and with an upper facelift, but upper facelift is done with no incisions. So here is a quick video of it. So in this case, I'm just going to put 2 stab incisions, one here, one there. And the same principle, I'm going to inject in the subcutaneous plane with this infiltrating needle. It is, again, you have to over-infiltrate, so it will make the dissection much easier. So the whole areas are infiltrated. Here is the Viterbo dissector, and I will make multiple tunnels and mobilize everything. And I always feel the tip of, and then this is the right angled one. Now this kind of creates a concern. Maybe we are pulling, ripping some nerves, sensory nerves, vessels in that area. Nowadays, I use a different technique, but I'm going to show that one after this. So we place the surgical net and again, 5-O-proline running suture. Now, with this patient, the problem is this patient has excess skin. So I'm going to move everything upwards. As you see, my pull usually is vertical, and I'm securing. So once I do that, you can see in the temporal area, some skin is starting to bulging up. You see, that's a whole fold down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that excess skin into the hair. The way I'm going to achieve that, I'm going to do a dissection over the deep temporal fascia. That's a plane, you know, avascular. It's easily, we can get into that plane. So now I have 2 dissection. One is subcutaneous. This goes through the subcutaneous dissection. This is a 3-O-vical suture. I tunnel it through the subcutaneous. Now I'm going through over the deep temporal fascia, and I will put the other end of the suture. Now, there is this tissue separating those 2 planes, and I'm going to use that suture like a jigsaw. And now they're all connected. And yes, I'm going to give that skin now into the hair. Can it distort the hairline? Yes, it can, but it will be not detectable. And I'm going to show you result after result. The hairline really is not noticeable. So here is what we do. So two incisions, and we can see the anatomy. Here we can see the temporal muscle right here. The dissection here needs to be thick so we can protect all the hair follicles. So we do the infiltration. We do the subcutaneous dissection here over the deep temporal fascia here. So we start pulling the skin with the surgical net. Now we have all this loose skin here. So we tunnel that suture around this structure separating those 2 planes. And we jigsaw it, and we move it back and secure with more sutures, and we're done. Now, if I'm doing an incision, a facelift, or if I have a small incision, I do the tunnels, then I take this dissector. So this is, again, a Viterbo dissector. I gently just connect those tunnels, but because of the stretching movement, if you put a lighter detractor, you're going to see a lot of nerves and vasculature intact. And I feel this is a gentler way of doing things instead of using the right-angled dissector. So here is another video. Let's go back to the video. Okay, here we go. Now here is the hairline. Here is the fusion line. Here is the temporal muscle, all of it almost in the hair, a small portion in front. And here is the subcutaneous dissection. Then we take our electrocautery, make a small window right there. And then just gently with the scissors, we'll find the temporal fascia. It is just that white structure. It's a avascular plane, easily accessible. And then I put that right angled and kind of go through the fusion line. I make sure all that area is dissected well. We don't have to worry about any vessels or nerves in that area. Then again, this goes through the subcutaneous layer. This goes through over the deep temporal fascia, and I jigsaw it. And this jigsaw is interesting. You'll get no bleeding with this. And so here, they are all connected. So here's a patient, as you can see, as a stab incision here, a small incision here, and incision behind the ear. That's it. And we did this procedure. I was targeting these wrinkles as well, move everything up. This is her 8 months out. As you can see, the face has no incisions and a pretty decent improvement. Of course, neck, I did a neck lift through short incisions. Here's a bald man. This is ideal for a bald man. I have only one incision here, and of course, neck has separate incisions. And I call this a facelift effect. I'm not doing a facelift, but I'm getting an effect like that. Here's another patient. I did an upper left, temporal lift, fat grafting, both micro and nano fat, and I did isolated neck lift. Here you can see her 7 months post-op, and she has no incisions. And pretty decent result, resembles a facelift. Here's another patient, actually. I lowered the medial portion. I elevated the lateral portion. I did fat grafting, and I did an isolated neck lift. I don't know if I could achieve a better result if I opened the face and did a formal facelift. Here's another patient. I did a neck lift, only a incision, submental incision. So that's the only incision she has. And also she has an upper left incision. I did the temporal lift. That's her result with almost no incisions, at least no incisions visible. So let's talk about facelift through no visible scars. This patient came to me. She had already had a facelift somewhere else, and I was going to do just a temporal lift. The day of the surgery, I asked her, do you mind if I make a small incision and maybe try to correct this area a little bit, like here, this incision? She said, okay, doctor, go ahead and proceed with it. So I opened her up. I placed 2 cable sutures. Here's the video. And I sutured those to the deep temporal fascia. And she looked like this. So fat grafting, clearly, temporal lift, and this small incision facelift. And here she is 4 months post-operative. It's a recent result. But you can see there is slight improvement. And really, I did this through a 2-centimeter incision. Then I decided thinking, can I advance this technique and do it on more advanced cases? And this is a case that I did. She's red because I did Patrick Tonnard's microneedling. And as you can see, it's important thing. There is no dissection here. You shouldn't dissect here if you're doing what I call a very short scar facelift. And here you can see the result, and also the improvement in the pigmented skin with micrografting and microneedling with nanograft. And really, this patient has like 1.5 centimeter incision, and also, of course, formal neck lift incisions behind the ear. And I got a full face improvement, almost scar-free. So full face with short incisions. This is a traditional incision. Quite a few plastic surgeons use this incision. To me, this is such a long incision. I don't find an indication to use it. I just use this short incision with almost every facelift. And here, the skin looks like, well, there's a lot of skin. So you do your dissection, as I showed before. And then if you take those hooks and place them in a fashion, you'll see that skin is going to disappear. And look at the corner of the eye. The movement of the corner of the eye looks like she's getting a cantapexy. So that's how they look. The incision ends up here, but you have correction from here to here. And they look a little bit oriental. I call it the cantopexy effect. It is not a formal cantopexy, but look at all these eyes, the sweep of the eye with this technique, and the shortening of the lower lid to cheek junction. With all these patients, and it gives a natural look, a natural sweep. I mean, this old patient clearly has a very weak lower eyelid, and with the fat injection, we can see the improvement of the discoloration under the eye, like Patrick presented, and overall improvement of the eye. Here, of course, this brow is elevated too much, but to correct all these areas without a formal blepharoplasty, I did a transconjunctival blepharoplasty, no other incision. I think she has a very youthful looking periorbital area. Yes, I moved, because she had a short brow, the tip moved up a little bit, but I think it is, after achieving such an improvement around the eye, it's so easy to fix that brow with a little modification or tatouage or something. And here is some other examples. Here is a man, again, only transconjunctival blepharoplasty, and I shortened that distance with the temporal lift, and we can see the tightening effect. I didn't do a cantopexy or cantoplasty. But let's assume you have a patient, you really want to change the location of the lateral canthal ligament. So I'm doing a facelift, and right at the lateral orbital rim, I got under the orbicularis oculi muscle, and that white structure is the lateral canthal ligament. Here you can see. Why don't I do it from the upper eyelid incision? I don't like it because I get this distortion. But if I do it through here, actually the visualization is so easy, and I put a suture through it, retract it upwards with a 15 blade right over the periosteum. I just divide the ligament. I check that I divided it completely. You may get little bleeding. You cauterize it. And then here it is. You see, you move that corner without any distortion. So here's a patient. I did that procedure. You can see clearly I was able to move that corner at least 2 millimeters through my facelift incision. So let's review some before and afters. We can see the effect. All these patients have short facelift scars. As you can see, the hairline, there are no incisions here, and my incision really doesn't exceed this. So it is like a short scar. And even tough eyelids like this, I treat them transconjunctival nanografting and microfat grafting. And the facelift, this is 13 months postoperative. All through short incisions. And we saw this patient before, and all these through short facial incision. Here, the same thing. I did the cantopexy through the facelift incision. Here's the change in the lateral canthus. And we can see the improvement with this procedure and no scars in the hairlines. This is kind of a current result. And we saw this patient. And here we can see the improvement. Of course, this is every patient I operate gets nanofat and microfat. So that's how I get some improvement in the skin texture as well. Here's this patient is 75 years old. And you can see her after facelift through short scars. In conclusion, I say GBS or GBL, gliding bra shaping, is an effective and scar-free way of shaping the bra. It gives the surgeon the ability to shape every centimeter of the bra in a different fashion. Surgical net provides precise skin draping, allows the surgeon to perform procedures through significantly shorter scars. Thank you.
Thank you, Ozan. The results are very, very impressive. And of course, with the minimum incisions.
I can't hear you, Bertha.
You can, okay. Can you hear me now? ¿Me escuchas? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can? Fernando?
Yo te oigo muy bien. Tu micrófono está abierto.
Okay, I got you.
I got you, okay. Ozan, please, what do you think this technique works? Because we have the idea that the aesthetic procedures supporting skin doesn't have a long-lasting results?
Yes, let's assume we do the GBL through a huge incision. Let's cut the patient from here to here, dissect the skin, pull everything up, remove the excess skin with a huge incision and secure it up there. And yes, initially may have a good result and in time it will come back because you depend on a single point fixation. You only fix your repair through the hairline. But with the surgical net, you create 50 points of fixation. So you create adhesions in 50 points. It's even, I think, the longest lasting results in facelift surgery and is an extended SMAS lift. You have to cut all the retaining ligaments and move the SMAS up. But at the end, you secure that SMAS at a single point, and in time, even that will descend. If it were possible to do a surgical net of the SMAS, but there is no structure that you can secure to underneath. Trust me, those results would look marvelous and last forever. But so the key is the surgical net. It makes the results very long lasting.
¿Cuánto sobrecorriges la ceja? How much do you have to sobrecorrect the brow?
Well, you have to develop a sense of it. And so usually at least 50% overcorrection of the brow.
Fernando, ¿alguna pregunta?
Yes, Dr. Sozer, congratulations on the extended results. I love always to hear different ideas, innovations, and probably this is one of the best that I have heard in many years. I have two questions for you. Tell me, your post-op view immediately is not very pleasing. How do you handle this situation with your patients, considering private patients?
I show my patients the worst case scenarios. I'm very honest. I say, before you look good, you're gonna look horrible. I say you're gonna look like you were hit by an 18-wheeler. Those are the exact terms. And I bring their family members who's gonna care for them afterwards. I show those pictures to the family members as well. And then I put the results. I said, look, this is how she's gonna look 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. So they are very well informed. Actually, nowadays, I think Andre will tell you the same thing. People come to me and they say, hey, Dr. Sozer, you operated my friend. You're gonna put that net thing on my face, is that right? Now they ask for it.
Ozan, you have in El Paso people with a darker skin. Do you prepare the skin before or after? How do you treat the pigmentation that you will have with the net?
Surprisingly, I didn't have much problems with darker skin. I had a few patients, Oriental patients, that developed initially pigmentation, and I treated with retinol and 3% hydroquinone. It took like 2 months, but it completely resolved.
Okay, Fernando?
Yes, I knew this kind of stitches over the skin from Brazil, but not with the same purpose as you are using now. And especially in Fitzpatrick 4 type of eye skin, they have reported some indentations around the skin. Have you seen this problem in your Latin population patients in your city? Not
really. I think it is important to use at least 5-0. Sometimes in certain places I use 6-0 suture. If you go to sometimes 4-0 or 3-0 sutures, and because you want to use a big needle and do it faster, you may run into those problems. So one important issue, use 5-0 proline. Don't go bigger than that, especially on the face, and also remove it in 48 hours. Sometimes I operated on a Friday, and I didn't want to open the office on Sunday, and I waited Monday. I didn't have any problems with those patients, but I think the longest I waited is 2.5 days.
Wonderful. You have a very nice contender for new and innovations techniques. Congratulations.
Thank you, Fernando.
Ozan, Andre, could you put your slide, please? Ozan, the last question for you.
Yes.
How long does the result last?
I tell my patients the result is going to last all their lives. So the way I explain, I say, if you have a twin sister and I do surgery on you, your twin sister doesn't have any surgery, you will always look 20 years younger than your twin sister.
Okay, okay. Well, Andre, welcome. Andre Auersvald, our teacher or professor. We love you because you have changed our lives in many ways. And of course, Andre is from Curitiba, Brazil. He is the director of the Auersvald Plastic Surgery Institute. He's a member of IPRAS, the Brazilian Society. He's a professor of the Brazilian Society on Plastic Surgery. He's a surgeon who has changed the practice, believe me, of everybody, because the technique of a net hemostatic has plenty of functions nowadays, and he specializes in face and neck surgery, the subplatysmal neck lift, the submandibular and salivary gland partial resection. He also has papers about BLEF, about breast augmentation, mastopexy using a pectoral muscle lobe reduction mammoplasty with ultrasonic lipo, etc. His practice is very, very impressive, and he has more than 22 articles about everything of this and many book chapters. So, Andre, thank you very much. The floor is yours, and go, come on.
Muchas gracias. ¿Posso hablar en español, Bertha? Bom, voy a hablar en español. Portuñol. Primeramente, gostaria de agradecer a la FILACP por la oportunidad de poder compartilhar nuestra experiencia. Entonces, muchas gracias a Patrick Tonnard, a Stefan Danila, Ozan Sozer, que es un grande amigo, y você, Bertha, y su esposo, que son personas muy queridas. Gracias por todo. ¿Cómo la red hemostática fue desarrollada? Mira, este es un caso de muchos años atrás, en que yo hice una cirugía con una cirugía del cuello, y después de algunas horas había un hematoma. Entre 2002 y 2010 empezamos a tratar los hematomas con puntos separados. No hacía la drenaje en lo quirófano, hacía en lo leito cirúrgico. Y después empezamos a hacer como prevención. Entonces, esa es la historia de la red hemostática. Esa fui una de las primeras personas que operé. Tenía apnea, usaba CPAP y tenía hipertensión nocturna por causa del apnea. Y tuve un grande hematoma. Y drené el hematoma en su leito cirúrgico, en el leito donde duerme. Mira cómo yo hice con puntos separados, una pequeña incisión, drenaba los coágulos y pronto, listo. ¿Y por qué yo tenía más hematomas? Probablemente porque yo hacía un desplegamiento más largo. Mira la diferencia que hay entre los dos desplegamientos. Un mini lifting, un desplegamiento más limitado y un desplegamiento más largo. Este es lo que nos hacemos de rutina. Entonces, una gran diferencia en estadística de hematoma. Este es como hacemos de rutina en la mayoría de nuestros pacientes que operamos. Entonces, desplegamiento más amplio, hay mayor riesgo de hematoma. Entonces consideramos que la región cervical es muy importante en el contexto del rejuvenecimiento facial. Sin embargo, el desplegamiento cutáneo cervical aumenta la posibilidad de hematomas en 4.3 veces. ¿Por qué? porque isso foi estudado por Grover, Jones e Waterhouse. O desplegamento do platisma da pele aumenta em 4,3, a pressão arterial pré-operatória arriba de 150 aumenta em 3,6 e o gênero masculino também aumenta em 2,8. Então, desplegamento cervical amplo, hipertensão, sexo masculino, mais náusea, vômito, agitação e desconexão pós-operatória pode causar transtorno muito grande a toda a equipe e ao paciente. Este é caso que eu vou mostrar como hacemos nossa rotina. Este é desplegamento muito amplo hasta a clavícula, mira hasta lo externo para fazer a aplicatura do platisma hasta abaixo, hasta este ponto aqui. Grande desplegamento da piel, a tracção e depois a rede, que nos traz tranquilidade, como Patrick Tonnard, Ozan, Bertha está haciendo também. Então, nos traz a tranquilidade que podemos volver a sua casa, a sua família e dormir tranquilos. Essa é a grande diferença com uma cirurgia tão larga e tão agressiva em termos de desplegamento como essa. Esta paciente é minha esposa, então por isso estou compartilhando com você. E ela começando 24 horas depois da cirurgia. Isso poderia causar grande hematoma. E não é uma situação tão infrequente. Então, podemos ver hematomas causados por hipertensão, por vômitos, como este caso. Mira ela com 48 horas, aqui com 5 dias, aqui com 7 dias, fazendo a curação, sacando os pontos com 7 dias, apesar do vômito por 24 horas vomitando, 10 dias está muito bem, 20 dias está melhor ainda. Poderia ter volvido ao quirófano para treinar hematoma, mas aqui está com 30 dias muito bem. E aqui com 50 dias. A diferença, os pontos não marcam, como foi dos comentários. Então, a rede hemostática nos permite reposicionar a piel onde queremos, como caso como esse. Ozan mostrou muito bem que se pode trazer a piel e se poner onde se quer. É uma modelação. E podemos fazer cervicoplastia sem quitar a piel. Mire esta jovem que queria fazer tratamento de seu cuello sem incisões, sem ressecar a piel. Devemos dar os créditos a Dr. Ronaldo Pontes, que publicou em seu livro esta forma de reposicionamento da piel. Então, Dr. Ronaldo Pontes foi provavelmente dos pioneiros nesta técnica. Nós publicamos muitos artículos sobre isto. E han surgido novas contribuições através da experiência de outros colegas. Então, Dr. Anthony Wolf, dos Estados Unidos, usa a técnica para malformações vasculares, seja em qualquer área. Ele também publicou, junto com Chiara Bocci, o uso da rede hemostática em fixação externa de grandes injertos. Dr. Enrique Sintra, grande amigo, hace o uso disto também em queimaduras em niños, que são pessoas que é mais difícil de fazer curativo, não sei como se falar em espanhol. Doutora Chiara Bocci também apresentou alguns casos de tratamento de relenhos, difícil de se fazer a hemostasia, como é esta área. Então, puse a rede hemostática e pude quitar qualquer sangrado. A mesma Chiara Bocci mostró un caso muy interesante de tratamiento de bursitis olecránica, donde es muy difícil de hacer una vendaje y se inmovilizar. Doctor Francisco Bravo hizo un tratamiento de la epicantoplastia. El doctor Arturo Montanana es una persona que está desarrollando la misma técnica, y aquí está un video completo de su técnica, de cómo está siendo hecho. Mira, hay un reposicionamiento de la piel como Ozan Sozer ha mostrado. Se puede poner la piel donde se desea, entonces se mueve la piel para se quitar la red hemostática, la plega del epicanto. Mira los resultados muy interesantes. Y la ginecomastia lipoglandular. Hay grasa y glándula. Doctor Joan Medeiros está demostrando su técnica. Mira, sacando la glándula, la área de desplegamiento, el uso de la red. Es una técnica muy tranquila de se hacer, apenas puntos continuos para se quitar lo espacio muerto. Es un cirujano mucho experiente en cirugía de la mama, y mira cómo hace. Y también doctor Joan Medeiros haciendo reconstrucción mamaria, también en la área de desplegamiento donde se acumula fluidos, líquidos, hematomas, la forma que él está haciendo para prevenir hematomas o seromas. Es muy interesante, tiene una larga experiencia con esto, está publicando un artículo con esta técnica. Mira, sacando los puntos. Una técnica fácil de se hacer. Y aquí, doctor Francisco Bravo, de España, que tiene una larga experiencia con red hemostática, tratando un ectropio. Mira el desplegamiento de la piel, parecía que había falta de la piel, una escasez de la piel. Y él hizo una cirugía de reposicionamiento de la piel, porque había apenas una contracción, no falta de piel, con una cantopexia. Y el resultado final, fantástico, maravilloso. Y aquí podemos ver a remoción de permanent fillers, releños permanentes, que es muy frecuente en Latinoamérica. Nosotros tratamos muchos releños permanentes. Hay una área de desplegamiento que cubrimos con la red hemostática. Mira, con pocos días, los resultados muy buenos, poca hemostasia, no hay necesidad de mucha hemostasia. ¿Quién tuvo un hematoma de grasa de Bichat? Si es así, ¿cómo tratar y controlar la hemorragia interna? Mira, en este caso hubo un gran sangrado, hipertensión por post-cirúrgica y un hematoma de bola de Bichat. ¿Cómo hacer para tratar? Yo empecé a hacer estos puntos apenas para compartir con ustedes cómo traté esta bola de Bichat. Probablemente el sangrado estaba en la origen de la bola de Bichat. Hice muchos puntos como una red transfixante, y con 10 días había totalmente quitado este sangrado que es extremadamente difícil de controlar. Francisco Villegas, un gran amigo, nos mostró el tratamiento de hematoma de la cartílago auricular. Ronaldo Regueso, un gran amigo mío, o Patrick Tonnard de Brasil, que hace lo mismo que Patrick Tonnard. Aquí está su experiencia con un grande dorsal, que es una técnica muy interesante para evitar sangrado de la área donadora. Y también seromas recurrentes, muy complicado, complexo de tratar, Él hizo la red hemostática sobre la área que había los seromas y consiguió quitar los seromas. Dr. Gerald O'Daniel de Louisville nos mostró la técnica de elevación del labio superior con el uso de la red en la área desplegada. Dr. Osvaldo Saldanha también compartió su experiencia en tratamiento de tumores del músculo. Dr. Gianluca Campillo también nos mostró su experiencia en el uso de la banana roll deformity, tratado con una lipoaspiración superficial y la red. Entonces, para acomodación de la piel y también para reposicionamiento del implante mamario en situaciones en que hay deslocamiento del implante. Y también para tratamiento del double bubble, que es la memoria de la piel na prega inframamaria. Y también nos envió este caso en que usó para cogajo nasal de resección de tumor nasal. Pero ahora vamos para lo peor escenario. O que puede acontecer de peor? Una parada cardíaca en un facelifting. Dr. Menigó, presidente de la Sociedad de Cirugía Craneofacial de Europa, tuve una fibrilación ventricular, tuve que hacer reanimación cardíaca y usó la red hemostática. Fui transferido para la unidad de terapia intensiva, 95% de obstrucción coronaria. Fui puesto stents coronarios y tratamiento antiagregante masivo. Y el paciente está vivo y sin hematoma. Mira, antes, lo intermedio y después. Podría se transformar en una grande complicación de hematoma, pero con la red prevenió mismo con el uso de terapia muy larga de anticoagulantes. Dr. Décio Portela es un cirujano muy experiente de cirugía reconstructiva, nos envió este caso con el uso de red hemostática en reconstrucción de la región parietal, temporal, y en el uso de cogajo de mustar. Mira, interesante cómo se hace en cirugía reconstructiva, donde se puede tener hematomas, especialmente en pacientes que hay poco control postoperatorio. Mira lo postoperatorio inicial y lo postoperatorio tardío, muy interesante. También en reconstrucción de orejas y también en tumores con injerto libre en región de nariz y los resultados finales. Dr. Fausto Viterbo, un cirujano extremadamente experiente, muy gran amigo, con una segunda etapa de desengraxamiento del cogajo de compuesto libre en miectomía del labio inferior en la área doadora de región temporal. Y adenoma pleomórfico, que es una área que con mucha frecuencia se hace acúmulo de fluidos. Dr. Fausto Viterbo publicó en 2019 la técnica de GBL que Dr. Ozan Sozer nos presentó. Entonces, es una técnica de desplegamiento cutáneo con fixación de la piel más arriba. Temos también una gran experiencia con esta técnica. Pero Ozan Sozer llevó la red al límite creando nuevas técnicas, nuevas tendencias que realmente estamos aprendiendo con ellos también. Mira, él presentó su técnica y realmente son maravillosas. Y él también creó una técnica de creación de New Intergluteal Groove, ¿no? Surco interglúteo, con la técnica de la red hemostática. Dr. Daniel Lavey usa la técnica con mucha frecuencia en paralisia facial, injerto libres en la oreja, ¿no? Y también en la transferencia temporal, una cirugía secundária. Me enviou este caso para apresentar em este webinar. Dr. Afrânio Bernardes também usa a rede nesta região em cirurgias muito agressivas de liposucção. Aqui vou mostrar agora seroma de parótida, como temos o tratamento. Miram, anestesia local, drenagem da cialoma, de la saliva, la rede y la aplicación de toxina botulínica sobre la glándula y sacando los puntos con 72 horas y mira 8 días completamente curada. Normalmente teria 30 a 60 días para curar. Ahora con 8 días está listo. Lo Dr. Gerald Little hizo estudio de angiografía a láser y mostró prueba que no hay comprometimento vascular. Entonces, es una grande producción científica para demostrar que no hay comprometimento vascular desde que la técnica sea hecha de una forma correcta. Aquí, un tratamiento de un grande lipoma, hicimos una área muy difícil de hacer una bandaje. Então, hicimos la rede para obliterar o espaço muerto. Aqui está o final da cirurgia. A rede removida e nenhum hematoma. Então, esse é caso também de falso viterbo. Dr. Giovanni Botti usando em cirurgia de la cara, em cirurgia de los braços. Dr. Norman Waterhouse, depois de uma grande liposucção para que a pele não se quede muito relajada, se põe na rede e saca com 48 horas para que a pele não baje muito. Dr. Milton Daniel hizo a cirurgia em transgênero, né, mastectomia em transgênero, na grande quantidade de ressecção da glândula, puse os pontos separados, da mesma forma, e aí está o resultado maravilhoso em uma cirurgia muito complicada, muito complexa. Eu também hago, em alguns casos de liposucção secundária, quando há grande desplegamento da pele após a liposucção, que pode coletar sangue não, líquido. Então, pongo este tipo de curação por la rede para evitar que não haga formação de líquido abaixo da pele. La NET é uma grande plataforma para provar coisas novas e reduz o edema e induração da dissecção subcutânea, que se minimiza. Então, essas são palavras de um grande amigo, Dr. Gerald Odiano. E para finalizar, Dr. James Grattan, que também é grande, usa a rede, que he said that an expert was a fellow who was afraid to learn anything new because then he wouldn't be an expert anymore. Muchas gracias, Bertha.
André, ¿me escuchan?
Sí, escucho.
Maravilloso. Creo que tu técnica ha venido a revolucionar muchos de los aspectos de nuestra especialidad y por tiempo te voy a hacer 2 preguntas muy importantes. ¿Cuál es el tipo de sutura que debemos utilizar en la NET? ¿Tendremos a futuro una sutura indicada que podamos tener en todos los países? ¿Qué nos recomiendas?
Sí, a mí me gusta. En Brasil nosotros tenemos una aguja de 2.5. Es una aguja más larga de 2.5, 25 milímetros. Creo que en breve todos los países terán, pero creo que en México y en otros países se tenga apenas 1.9 y eso hace mucha diferencia. Pero como la NET rede está se tornando más popular, creo que las empresas tendrán interés en producir la misma aguja en otros países.
Ok, le pedimos a Stefan que vaya abriendo su cámara y ponga su presentación, mientras André nos dice nada más ¿qué utilidad tiene en un sangrado transoperatorio la NET?
Sí, sangrado transoperatorio. Que nos creímos que el sangrado transoperatorio toma un tiempo muy grande, muy largo para hacer la coagulación. Nosotros hoy sustituimos el tiempo de la coagulación por el tiempo de la red. Entonces, nosotros gastamos 15 minutos haciendo la red en vez de 15 minutos coagulando.
Muito obrigado, André. Le prenden el audio al doctor Molina, por favor, Axel. Axel.
Sí, adelante.
Axel.
No se escucha el audio, Axel.
Hola, ¿me oyen?
Ya.
Quiero darles a todos ustedes las más sinceras gracias por esta espléndida tarde de academia llena de innovaciones, de ideas y conceptos muy contemporáneos, sin duda muy útiles para toda nuestra práctica profesional. Todos ustedes son afortunados de tener increíbles resultados, de tener una estupenda selección de pacientes y aplicar estas cosas vanguardistas, estas nuevas tecnologías, estas tendencias de complicaciones bajas y de técnicas menos invasivas para obtener estos magníficos resultados en la cara y en el cuerpo. Stefan, una enorme felicitación. Eres un gran artista en la fotografía. Es muy agradable ver tus conceptos, tus innovaciones, pero sin duda la fotografía que nos muestras es realmente digna del Museo de Arte Moderno de Nueva York o de algún otro sitio. Muchas felicidades. Bertha, decirte mil gracias por tu esfuerzo, tu disposición y tu espléndida generosidad de compartir a todos tus amigos con la Federación Ibero-Latinoamericana esta tarde. Con el doctor Alejandro Duarte como presidente de la Federación Ibero-Latinoamericana, esta es la penúltima conferencia que vamos a organizar prácticamente con este grupo de profesores invitados por ti. Estamos haciendo un cierre con broche de oro de excelencia académica durante esta contingencia COVID en este programa de educación médica continua. Gracias, Patrick, por estar desvelándote. Espero te hayas tomado una buena copa de vino en lo que estabas escuchando a tus amigos. Muchas gracias. Alejandro.
Sí. Ok, bueno, pues yo me siento con el corazón y el cerebro inflamado de alegría, de emoción, ¿verdad? Bertita, digo, no hay palabras para agradecer tu esfuerzo de juntar a tan maravillosos profesores, innovadores, famosos. No te vayas, Berta, escritores de libros, de capítulos, ¿verdad? Nos han enseñado de muy jóvenes como Stefan, hasta ya más grandes como André, como Tonnard y André, ¿verdad? Y Ozan, pero todos maravillosos. Yo quiero darte las gracias, Fernando Molina, por tu programa académico. Han sido 2 años intensos y sobre todo la pandemia nos ha obligado a hacer estos cursos mucho más compactos, más seguidos, pero nos tiene vivos académicamente. En esta pandemia no nos volvemos locos gracias a que nos conectamos y aprendemos cosas maravillosas de cada gente. No en el nivel académico, sino en el nivel humano también. Quiero agradecerte, Patrick. Merci beaucoup, vous êtes très gentil, monsieur. Bonne nuit. Ozan Sozer, thank you very much. You have a wonderful results too. André, muito obrigado, señor. Muito obrigado. Stefan, no hablo español, así es que muchas gracias, amigo. Hablé en español chileno. En español chileno. Gracias, vos. No, ese es argentino, perdón. No, Stefan. Gracias a todos, porque ha sido una tarde de veras maravillosa. Fernando, Bertita, muchísimas gracias. Quiero darle las gracias a todos nuestros compañeros, compañeras se nos están escuchando en todo Ibero, Latinoamérica. Ya dijo Fernando y Bertita, son cerca de 500 gentes conectados que los han estado escuchando. 500 gentes en todo Ibero, Latinoamérica y en Europa, en España y Portugal. Muchísimas gracias. Cuídense mucho. Bendiciones para ustedes y sus familias en esta pandemia. Y sigan adelante enseñando y dando esas perlas, compartiendo con todos para que todos mejoremos nuestras cirugías con los pacientes que tenemos. Muchísimas gracias. Sin más palabras, que pasen muy buenas tardes, muy buenas noches. Merci, obrigado, thank you very much. Gracias a todos.
Gracias a todos. Buenas noches.
Gracias, Poncho, Vallarta y Axel. Un abrazo a ustedes que están detrás de cámaras, pero si no fuera por ustedes igual, no podríamos hacer esta maravilla de tecnología, de estar en 6 o 7 imágenes al mismo tiempo en miles de kilómetros lejanos. Gracias. Buenas noches.